Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about the race that just happened for the Malaysian Grand Prix at the Sepang International Circuit. But before we get into it, here is how it finished. Pecco Bagnaia won it from Jorge Martin, Enea Bastianini, Alex Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Fabio Quartararo, Maverick Vinales, Alex Rins, Marco Bezzecchi, Augusto Fernandez, Johan Zarco, Marc Marquez, Alicia Spagro, Franco Morbidelli, Luca Marini, Raul Fernandez, Andrea Iannone, and Lorenzo Savadori was the last one across the line. Taka Nakagami and Joan Mir did not finish the race, and Brad Binder and Jack Miller did not start the race. Now, let's just say the opening segments of this race was absolutely epic. They did have two attempts to start the race. The first attempt, there was an incident in turn two. It looked like Brad Binder high-sided, knocked into Quartararo, who knocked into Jack Miller. There was a red flag, and as Jack did need some treatment, but he did appear to be okay. Once the race was underway, they did show pictures of Jack walking back towards the garage, which is always a good sign to see. Obviously, Jack didn't take the restart. Brad Binder attempted to take the restart, but he did pull in as he wasn't. It looked like that he was in an awful lot of pain, but Fabio Quartararo did take the restart. But once the race was restarted, boy oh boy, did we get 4 or 5 laps of absolutely titanic battle. You know, I think at one stage there in a lap and a half, they'd pass each other 5 or 6 times, which was just brilliant, and there was no quarter given from Pecco or Martin. And like, while I will say it was aggressive passing, it was definitely clean aggressive passing. It was brilliant to watch. It's definitely one of those reasons that you're like, okay, this is why I watch MotoGP and this is why I watch motorbike racing, full stop. That's what you want to see. But you kind of knew, you know, this couldn't go on forever either, and we got, I think it was 5 laps maybe, of just going for a dive bombing, you know, trying to outsmart each other, different lines. It was just epic to watch the two title contenders go head to head. Now, look, one had everything to lose and the other has nothing to lose now at this stage. You know, and I was a little bit surprised Martin was so aggressive. I did think, you know, he was just going to say, okay, Pecco, off you go, take your 5 points out of my 29, you know, and I go happy to the holidays. But, you know, he didn't even have it easy. He did, but then saying that after the 5 or 6 laps, the rest of the laps, it wasn't great. In my view, the race wasn't that exciting after that. You know, but saying that those first 4 or 5 laps were just completely epic. You know, Pecco did come out on top, and you know, really you could see it that, you know, he just wanted to try and bring it to the last round in the championship. Martin, again, you know, it's very hard to separate those two riders in rider of the day for me. Enea Bastianini, another anonymous race. You know, he didn't have the pace. I don't even think he would have finished on the podium if Mark didn't crash. So, you know, not such a great one. I think he now is 1 point behind Marc Marquez in the championship for third. So, third place still to be fought for around Barcelona for Enea and Marc. Alex Marquez, really good showing from Alex Marquez, to be fair. Looked much better. I believe he now has a much better base on the bike as well. Pedro Acosta, good solid race from Pedro. You know, he did pull away from, didn't really have anyone around him. So good race for Pedro. Nice top 5. Quartararo, again, very good to see him up there, especially with he was limping after the first the first start incident. But it was good to see him get a good finish there. Maverick, different Maverick turned up today. You know, yesterday he was down towards the back of the field. Different Maverick today. Alex Rins, very surprised to see Alex Rins in the top 8, lads. I will be very, very honest. But good to see him there. Welcome sight. Marco Bezzecchi, he had actually a good battle between himself, Fernandez and Zarco. It was interesting to watch them battle, but then saying that, you know, I think at the end of the race there was like 3 or 4 seconds between himself and Zarco, which is not really that great if you're looking at it. He's on a GP23 and Zarco is on a Honda. Marc Marquez in 12th place. He was running in. He probably actually had the best seat in the house for the opening laps. He was sitting behind the two boys. I'm sure, thinking they're going to take each other out and I'm going to win the race. And unfortunately, then, though, Mark did have a small off, was able to remount and finish. But again, he definitely had the best seat in the house to watch the two championship leaders go toe to toe. Alicia Spagro, again a little bit of an anonymous race. Franco Morbidelli, he did crash and remounted, but again, you do need to wonder. Did look very similar actually, Morbidelli's crash to Pecco's crash yesterday. Luca Marini and Raul Fernandez, again anonymous race for them. Big shout out to Andre Iannone. 38 seconds behind. That's not a lot when you look at it. It's like 1.8 seconds or so, or whatever it is. A lap, it's not too bad to be fair. It is a good session for him since he had no time on the bike at all, and he did give it to Lorenzo Savadori, who he beat, who has a lot of experience on MotoGP bikes, or current MotoGP bikes. Taka Nakagami didn't actually see, did he crash or did he pull in, but Joan Mir did crash. All in all, I thought it was absolutely epic race at the start, but it did pitter patter out, towards the end. But again, I suppose the start of the race gave a high expectation to how it was going to finish, and obviously kind of knew that it was never going to finish with the same intensity as it started with. All in all, though, I thought it was a pretty good race weekend. On to Barcelona now, at 2 weeks' time. Barcelona, Pecco crashed in the sprint. Martin didn't have a good sprint. And I can't remember who won the main race. I think it was Pecco again. So, look, nothing is done or signed and sealed. 24 points is the margin. Anything can happen in MotoGP. We've seen it already this year, so it's definitely going to be interesting. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. Who is your rider of the day? What did you think of the opening laps? And so definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.